Hello disc golfers, this is Matt Dollar and I'm here today with the first 9 at Flyboy Aviation. This is the Golden Ticket Finals. So the Golden Ticket Invitational was a 4-tournament series, and if you finish in the top 4, I believe it was, at any of those events, you made it into the finals. And it was just a good way to have a small but fair way to get more people into Flyboy in a tournament setting, because it has been years since we've had a tournament here.
Nice shot, Martin.
And that man right there, Martin Young, is the main reason we were able to do it this time. He put in all the work. And the other main reason is this guy right here, Kelly Legette, Flyboy owner and course designer.
90% air.
So Matt Versola did not go very far off the tee, but he's thrown a very nice second shot. That'll cover probably 350 feet at least and give him a short up shot that probably will let him save a par. If you don't have a big arm, then you really just don't even want to try to go over the road on this hole.
Oh yeah.
Because you can lay up safe and then still have it pretty easy up and down.
Right on it.
Like Brad did right there. He should be parked.
Get it. That's a nestler.
I've got the Cenis in my hands. This hole was a CTP also, so I was trying to get it close. Although I figured Martin or Brad had already parked it. Here's Versola's third shot.
It is. Yeah! Film that! That's a 3 right there. Trying to get me a bird. Nice birdie. That is a great birdie right there. Come on.
Matt Versola drops in the crowd-pleasing birdie from downtown with the forehand flick with his putter. Very nice touch on this one from Versola. It's just that little bit of Anheuser and it just slowly tries to come out, goes in dead center and flat. Perfect shot. So after a very bad tee shot, he will still start his round off with a birdie. And Flyboy is definitely a marathon. It's not a sprint. You got to pace yourself. 27 holes. You're going to have ups and downs. So everyone's going to find birdie here on hole number 1 except for Kelly. Kelly will settle for a par. And we'll move on to hole 2, 485 feet downhill and a par 3. I'm going with the Warship.
Right through the middle. Okay, through.
Yeah, do that, kid.
Sneaky little Warship. So now I've got Brad Hammock. He's going with a driver. Turns it over just a little too much.
Find a gap.
And that's going to catch a tree and knock him down. Versola's going to go sidearm. It's a pretty good sidearm route. He wants to turn it a little more than that, I think. Really just either just to the left or just to the right of that, and it would have been pretty much perfect. The one tricky thing about this hole is that you really have to have something that finishes late. It has to flip up at the very end of its flight.
Find a way.
Also, another tricky thing is there's
Back.
usually
All
wind
right.
coming across that hill
Thank you.
that you can't
Nice
feel
shot.
from the T-pad. So no one really parks it. I think I'm probably the closest. Me and Versola will have some kind of birdie look. Everyone else will be chipping up for a par. Those are some pretty good shots from Brad and from Martin. Kelly's got one of the neighborhood kids caddying for him right now. He also has a couple of the kids hanging out near the lake, one of them in a boat, trying to retrieve discs that get thrown in the water. So Versola's just low on his birdie putt. And I'm going to be just left there putting with the judge. Brad knocks in his par, and Martin will try to do the same before we move on to hole number 3. And it's the signature hole here at Flyboy. 780 feet, it's a par 5. And there's the basket way out there on the other side of the lake. I went warship off the tee. So there's a couple tricky things about this hole. The distance is not necessarily par 5 distance, but unless you throw a really good tee shot and land on the taxiway and towards the end of it, you really don't want to try to go over the water on your second shot. It's about 400 feet to the water from the tee pad, and unless you're in prime position, you're usually looking at some kind of 400 foot cross.
Simmer.
Okay, cool.
So even with my tee shot with the warship, I'm probably a little out of comfort zone. I'll probably be at least 350 feet away from the other side, and probably 380, 400 feet, probably 400 plus to the basket. So Kelly went a little early left. He's going to have to decide on one out. It's a good shot there, except for now he's going to have another decision on whether or not to try and go over. Versola's trying to get as close to the edge of the taxiway as possible. He goes just over it. There's a little bit of hill to work with before you get to the water there, though. And Martin, the course pro, plays it perfectly, throws it exactly where he wants. Now, Kelly's shot here looks like it's going in the water, but it's not. That shot right there will show you how far it is to the water. I'm going with the fluid enforcer here. There's just a tiny bit of wind. I tried to hit it with a little bit of hyzer and throw it as hard as I could. And pretty good shot there on hole number 3. Probably going to get me to about 30 feet. Now Brad's tee shot finished a little too far to the left, but he got away with it and has a little window down here. And he's able to rip one across the water. That'll make for a very easy up and down for the birdie. Speaking of up and down for the birdie, that's what Martin is trying to do right now.
In the hole. Do it.
And he throws a very nice shot. Matt Versola from just in front of the water's edge. Once again, he was safe. And Matt will skip one right up to the pole. And there's one of those neighborhood kids I was talking about, hanging out in the boat. And now he's got some work to do.
Oh, he's sleeping on the job.
My disc retriever something to do.
So Kelly's crossed and he is at the drop zone now. From the drop zone, it's just about 200 feet. It's a little scary though, because the basket is just on the other side of the hill, and if you do run the basket from back here, you have a good chance of going out of bounds. So it looks like I was a little inside 30 feet. Missed the putt just center high, and I'll have to settle for the birdie instead of the eagle, and we'll move on to hole number 4, 600 feet, par 4. I'm going with the Sheriff off the tee here. If you look at the left side of the screen, you can see it finish. Really on this one, you just want to try and throw it far enough to get past the lake. Unless you want to play it safe and throw it, a very technical shot, you definitely want to smash one to get past the lake here. A little slow-mo of Brad Hammock's very unique run up and drive. Not the best shot here, but
Carry,
definitely
carry.
was a good, clean video of his form. He's going to end up going in the water. He's about 5 feet short of going to the other side there. And Versola's going to open up a big forehand here. Very nice looking shot. He's going to be in a similar position to me, but he'll be a little shorter. And there's that technical shot I was talking about. Martin just threw one right down to the right side with a forehand. And once again, this is another hole where you just want to put yourself in the fairway and give yourself a second shot, because it's not a terribly long par 4, but it's got a lot of danger.
Oh yeah. That'll work.
So Kelly's just trying to get one past the little ditch area, and he did that successfully. Brad's gonna have to take it where he went out, and he has thrown a very nice shot. The video doesn't do it justice. It's pretty far uphill. He's throwing one up there to give him a chance to save the par after going OB off the tee. Great thing about having that big forehand like Versola does is even when you're down in the trench, you can still throw a nice, easy standstill side onto the basket.
You got that putt?
I go thumber on my second shot. Should be an easy birdie now.
Shot.
And a great putt from Brad
Good
Hammock
putt.
to save the par. Martin makes a nice putt to get the birdie. Kelly now putting for par. And a very nice putt from Kelly. I'll grab the birdie here. A little high on that putt, but it caught just fine. Going thumber again here on hole number 5, 300 feet, par 3, over the water and through the woods. Hopefully to the basket we go. Matt Versola goes forehand. And he cuts just in front of the basket there on a perfect line. Great shot from Versola.
Shot, dude.
Looks like both of us will move to 4 under through 5 holes after this one. Martin's 3 down through 4. This one's going to get away from him a little bit to the left. It'll be a long putt if he wants to continue to keep pace. Now we've got Brad Hammock throwing a mid-range. I believe it's a rock.
Get up there.
Comes out just a little bit. Not going to give him the best birdie look, but he might have something. Oh, Kelly's turned one over a little and caught the wind. I believe that's going to end up in the water.
Go in.
Oh, almost throws it in for the 2. Here's the replay. A little slow-mo. That would have been an incredible par save.
Yeah, man. Great ball.
Very nice putt from Brad. Has that little right-footed jumper. You don't see him do it too often.
Nice.
But it will be good for the birdie. And a few nice putts around here. Kelly actually knocks in for his par. He was not out of bounds off the tee. And we'll move on to Lefty's Revenge, 325 feet. And this is the only view where you can see the tee pad and the basket. But from the tee pad, you cannot see the basket. You can only see tree line and water. So this is a very tough hole for a righty. Even if you have a good forehand, it's not easy because you can't throw a flex forehand. You'll go right in the water. Martin throws a beautiful looking drive here, and that's what the course pro is going to do. He's going to show you exactly how it should be played. Kelly catches some of that low-hanging lettuce, and that's going to knock him down a little earlier than he wants. It's going to be a tough save from there. Speaking of tough save, Versola was trying to summon up a big putt after going OB off this drive.
Wait a minute.
I try to give it a bid from about 60 feet, and I go just off the top of the basket with my judge.
Hook.
So Martin is going to have the only chance for a birdie here. Yeah, that's That's about the best you're ever going to see a DB5 catch right there. You hear me coughing it up in the background. I know I got super lucky on that one. So let's move on to hole 7, definitely the hardest hole we're going to see on this video. Over 1,000 feet, par 5. It's through the woods, so you go up over this little hill in front of us, and then it turns to the left and goes downhill, and then it goes back uphill and turns to the right before going down a long tunnel and finishing back uphill to the left. Yeah, this is one of the hardest holes I can think of. Probably in the top 5 hardest par 5s I've ever played. And I would say it is in the top 2 hardest par 5s I've ever played that don't have any out of bounds.
Stop.
Hole 17 at Iron Hill is the
horseshoe.
Oh, he got the barrel.
So it's like there's a disc magnet over there on the right side on that little hill. Maybe it's the little coarse snake over there drawing them in. But something is definitely sucking all the plastic to the right side. If you don't land on the fairway off the tee shot here, you are in big trouble. Almost zero chance of saving par if you're off the fairway. In fact, I believe I've seen less than... Maybe I've seen 2 birdies here ever before this round, and probably about a dozen rounds or so on it. I think I've only birdied it 1 time ever.
Good shot, boy.
So I'm off in that stuff on the right side. I'm trying to go with a thumb or roller.
Stall, hold it. Bad branch. Hold. Don't go in.
Got a little bit of a branch when it was coming out of the trees, and it kind of adjusted the angle. I knew once it hit the ground it was going to turn too much. Probably get me back off the fairway again. Now, talking about only seeing 1 or 2 birdies ever on this hole, Matt Versola has done the 2 things you have to do to get in birdie position. He's thrown a very nice driver shot off the tee and a very good placement second shot that still covered at least 300 feet.
Come on, how does it bounce like that?
Like I wouldn't.
So I go thumb or roller again, and I just hit some kind of weird spot. Takes that huge bounce. I'm not happy about it at all, and it looks like it got me just off the right side of the fairway again. Speaking of not happy at all, Brad is all of a sudden trapped in this wood line, and he's hacking a little bit here. He's going to need a really good shot to get up and down from where he's at. So I've got the fluid enforcer in my hands. Such a weird little lie. I have to kind of swing my arm around and let this super overstable disc do the work for me.
Stay in the air. Stay in the air. Nice. Good shot, Dolly. Skip.
I think that was probably the best shot I threw during this first 9 holes for sure. That was a big moment to try and save a par.
Oh, sure.
So after Martin's hot start, he's having a little bit of trouble on backcountry.
Hit that.
And
Hit
now
right there.
he is going to be on the other side of the woods. He's going to need something special here if he wants to get away with something better than a double bogey.
Sit there.
If you see John Matlack pulling Brad Hammock's bag around, that's because Matlack did not play in any of the qualifiers, and there were no exceptions. So Matlack was shut out. Matt Versola putting for birdie. Holy cow,
Wow.
somebody got a birdie on hole 7. But right after she gives, she must take away, and she spits Brad Hammock out. He'll take a double bogey, and we'll move on to hole number 8.
Right at it. Didn't even change angle.
Hole 8 is a new addition to Flyboy. Holes 8 and 9 are new additions. These are the summer holes. Normally you'd play a little short hole over to the right of where we just finished, and then you would walk on and play old hole 9. I believe that'll still be a thing during the winter. We did play it on Sunday in the Viper layout. But these 2 holes make a fun little addition. So this one's super tight, downhill, says 315, but it only plays about like 250 because it is severely downhill. There is out of bounds right behind the basket, probably 30 feet behind the basket. And there's actually some trees or some logs down there protecting you from the creek. Yeah, that was Versola's disc landing and bouncing over those downed logs, downed trees that I had just mentioned, and he did go out of bounds. So Versola was 5 under through 6, I believe, or 5 through 7, and he's going to take a bogey here to move him back. And I'll take the birdie in hole number 8, put me at 5 under going into hole 9.
Yeah.
If you saw my Flyboy practice video,
Good
this
kick,
hole 9, this hole is incredibly tight. I mean, this first gap is insane. And then you have to keep going straight or get a little lucky.
You're right. The first. Yeah.
Amazing shot from Hammock.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Still going. Good
Nice
shot.
shot.
I believe this hole definitely puts some more teeth into the front 9, because before those two holes that you did play, 8 and 9, were super short birdie hole, which was hole 8, and then you had hole 9, which was kind of a soft par 4, but it's a beautiful hole. So these two, you have a harder par 3, and then you have a way harder par 4. There's Miss Rita, one of the local course neighborhood dogs. She's a sweet puppy dog, but she does like to roll in some dead animal from time to time and follow you around the entire course smelling it up. So MTV will not be able to get out of that right side. I'm going to go with a flippy beat up mace right here on my second shot and get it turning. Should be a pretty easy birdie from there. Martin has turned his a little to the right. Should give him a long birdie look.
Go.
Hammock asks for a little help, and he gets it. Slides right through those trees. And speaking of through those trees, I think Versola went through them also. Oh, Kelly with a great bid on that long putt. That'll be our last look at Kelly for this video. So Martin putting for a 3. Here's Brad Hammock. He will knock his putt in for a 3. And he should be 33 on the front 9, which is 1 under par. And Versola will do one better than that with his birdie here. He will shoot a 2 under par. Martin with just a couple rough putts, but he'll take a bogey here on hole number 9 to shoot even par, a 34 in the front. And I'm going to tap in for my birdie and shoot a 28, which is 6 under par on the front 9. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks to Carlos here for filming. And thank you to Kelly for having us at Flyboy. Thank you to Martin for putting on this event. Please check back for the middle 9 and the back 9 videos from the Flyboy Golden Ticket Invitational. Once again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to $5 Disc Golf.